Hello friends, and welcome back to LCS Challengers Summer Split. One series of the day done and one more ahead of us. Of course, if you're looking for as much League of Legends as possible, you can check out that LCS_Challengers broadcast. Also a bunch of stack matches over there, but hey, if you can only have one stream open, you're at the right place. Next up, we have DSG going up against AOE Gold. Going into this cubby, first initial thoughts.
Disguise 2-0.
I
did it for TLC
today.
I'm doing it for Disguise too. They 2-0 these.
I just meant your first thoughts, like, yo, this is gonna be hype, you know, but hey, you're just straight up like, no ifs, ands, or but Disguise 2-0. And hey, they have had a really strong start to the split. So pulling up the roster and looking a little bit more into this team, of course, we did have new teams come into our summer split, and Disguise was really exciting to see. I actually saw them in Valorant Challengers, so being able to see Disguise make an appearance over in LCS Challengers was really exciting. And Mazel, they definitely did not hold back when they were building this roster.
The Infinity Breakfast, again, I'll bring it up every time, man. This team is actually insane. The way that Disguise was able to pick up 3 of the championship roster from last split, make it work, and grab some of our best mechanical up-and-coming players in Young and Meech. It just fits the mold here, and I think while we've seen some disappointment in not getting 2-0s in every single one of their series from them on social media, they are definitely gunning for good results and trying to go for more than just 1-1s and trying to be one of the most dominant teams in NACL.
And then we saw Meech on the last graphic, so of course now we have to look to Breezy on opposite sides. That'll always hurt a little bit, Cubby.
Yeah, the fun story between Meech, Breezy, and now Zazel stepping in. We'll talk about that more in a bit, but good to see some of the members from AOE sticking together in Darkwings and Lynx. And I gotta say, it always feels like, it's the summer of Will, considering that he has only competed in summer now for the last 3 splits. But Will's been off to a really good start. He's been playing his aggro junglers and playing them well, getting some early leads. And I really want to see if Will can do that today against Tomio and what has really been the brick wall of good laning from Disguised.
100%. And
are you graphic of on this left
you can't laugh at it before we air it. You can't laugh at it before we air it, Mazel. So spoilers, we let Mazel get a hold of Photoshop again to build out a couple of graphics for our show, so you can just imagine where this is going.
The lovers are crossed, okay? Meech is standing there at the top of the explosion saying, "Fight over me, peasants!" No, not really. It is just a story of a really interesting duo between Meech and Breezy that I found had a lot of success when they were over on CLG, right? And it showed a lot of the best parts, mechanically so, of Meech. And now with Zazel, one of our best supports in the league and a previous champion, it's been really, really curious to me to see how Meech changes and what Zazel can do to improve his growth.
% too. And when you split up a duo too, Cubby, then we've talked about Meech, we talked about Zazel, but then I'm curious too, looking ahead at AOE and looking ahead at Breezy, what we've gotten to see and what we kind of expect coming out from him going on forward.
AOE and Breezy, he's been mostly playing Engagers and the Rakan, even snuck in an Alistar game. And for me, that's when Breezy has always been at his best. But I like what Mazel is saying and highlighting that Meech and Breezy found some success. It felt like Breezy was the only support he's lined with so far.
Yeah.
Until Zazel when it comes to this level of play. But also, Breezy, who has a bit more experience under his belt, I feel like had some of his best splits overall actually playing with Meech, as when Renata came out, he was one of, if not the best Renatas that we had in the league. He's always been fantastic at Rakan and finding engages, and here he is last split as him and Meech doing some work against the team that he's now on in AOE, as again, Breezy and Meech, I felt like were very, very strong as a bot lane duo, and COG, of course, didn't find the success they were quite looking for in playoffs, but still, we're a team that were very competitive in our league last year.
And I think when you saw a lot of those advantages, I loved their laning phase between Meech and Breezy. I think their 2v2 was very interesting. But then you start looking at what happens when they split apart, right? You get Breezy over here on AOE. This is that Alistar game you were talking about. But you still see some of the tried and true decision-making that made that combo so strong from Breezy's side.
100%. So glad to see how that's been shaking up. But of course, when we're talking about the EDC that's been stolen away, well, we have to talk about the thief in this case, talking about Zeyzal. So even got to talk to Zeyzal the other day, and looking ahead at how he's been playing, of course, he is someone that has been so strong. And he talked about, too, in that interview about how now paired up with Meech and going ahead forward this split, that Mazel, he's a little bit more willing to scrap, a little bit more willing to fight and just get in there.
It was so funny. We got to hear from Zeyzal last split when he was playing with Law, saying, you know, I'm playing with the most aggressive ADC I've ever played with. This split we heard from him, he's playing with one of the most mechanically gifted ADCs he's ever played with. So I think getting to hear from such an experienced member is super important. But when you look at the play, it is 100% led, just like it was last split on C9, through Zeyzal's decision making and a lot of the way that he plays the 2v2, but looking outwards towards the rest of the map as well, Cubby.
Zeyzal, man, whenever this guy competes, he's just been good. There's really no other way to put it, as I've always been a fan of Zeyzal when he's played, and it feels like, you know, he hasn't really skipped a beat after that break he took going into coaching, and also just from last split. It's been really good to see Zeyzal come back, as he is one of the most individually vocal players that we have when it comes to comms and leading a team, but also someone that is talented in the laning phase, and someone that I feel like still has quite a bit to give.
Yeah, and you saw in that last clip, he was the reason why Tomio felt so comfortable moving forward. In this clip, he's able to kind of buffer through. But in this one specifically, for me, it was just about how he played and elongated the fight from DSG in the top side. Because you don't have Zeyzal here, this fight becomes a lot different.
Yeah, and then, too, when we're looking at these different pieces of DSG coming together with Zeyzal and the rest of the squad, I mean, this is a team that coming together, Cubby, so far in summer,
look at this
is the team that we're able to take one of the games off of Team Liquid. Like, they have been really good.
I think that they are a top 3 team. I have no other expectation for Disguise but to take top 3 at minimum. And they are a team that I expect to be able to go toe-to-toe with TLC, but that also means for me with Disguise, the only games they have dropped have actually been against our 3 Challenger squads. I want to see them find 2-0s and show that they are a dominant team and do what TL's been doing, which is make the non-Challenger squads and the non-Disguise squads look like they are not on the same level. And I really want to see if Disguise can do that today.
I mean, the chat is definitely agreeing with your previous take of DSG taking this win. It's been a while since I've seen a poll be this lopsided.
What's AOE at, man? It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. We're about to touch into it, and it's only getting more lopsided. But hey, they're definitely a strong squad for a reason. And Mazel, you were talking about Zeyzal's interview and a couple of the things that he said about Meech. So let's pull that up and hear it in his words.
You're paired up with Meech. Bot lane, a little bit of a young gun, a little bit mechanical ADC, but also a little bit aggressive. How's it been?
He is a bit of a maniac. You know, he's kind of, I would say he's probably the best mechanical player in NACL right now from bot lane. He's playing on 110 ping, really 1v9ing. Yeah, I mean, Masu wishes he was this guy, but moving on.
I forgot about that last bit. It was a perfect cut, Sierra. It was a perfect cut.
We literally cut from the interview to you just doing the same laugh in the same.
I can't, man. When you say something so subtle like that from a man that's so stoic like Zeyzal, it just feels like that's factual. I guess that's just how we're moving.
That's facts. He is that guy. He is that guy. And we'll get to see that play out today, as of course we do have a match ahead of us and a draft that is ready. So take it away, you two.
All right, we'll get into draft number 1 for the second series here. DSG will be on the blue side. We have AOE on that red side. Make sure you're still spamming in chat for AOE because there's not a lot of support there. Maybe Disguise providing a little bit of bias with his co-streams, but we are getting into it. A lot of comfort bands taken away here, Cubby.
I'm actually surprised to see the Kindred taken away from Will, as there has been a very high priority on aggressive junglers for Will. No surprise, as he is someone that has been very promising whenever he has competed. He had the summer split on Dignitas, where they top 4'd PG. He had I think it was it was top 4. They took 4th. They had the summer split on 100 Thieves last year, where they took top 4 in PG and were the second strongest team. And now to see Will return this year, he was legendary on the Rek'Sai yesterday before they did drop one of those games, 0-2. And he has some really good moments.
I never tweeted because I got so invested in the rest of the series, but I was going to tweet at Will because that man popped off yesterday. He had like a 20 KDA in both games, and he still lost both games. You gotta facilitate this guy with the rest of the map. He will carry you to victory. We'll see if they give priority in this first draft here. We did get that Nico and Aphelios banned by DSG on the blue side, and the Melio and the Vi, something else that's been taking priority.
Well, there's something else that is still on the board, and that is going to be the Passenger Princess in the Yuumi. Now,
you steal it?
With Yuumi on the board, you do want to deny that from Zeri, but Disguise still have two options in the Yuumi and the Lulu, which can also pair up rather nicely with the Zeris. So I think that the take here of the Yuumi would be okay, could really empower someone on the side of AOE. And I'm curious if this actually gets answered with something, I mean, if you take Yuumi, you have to find your marksman pairing in the first three. So they have an option of taking Wukong, Ahri, Annie, some of those other champs I'm looking for. And I'm not expecting to see a Cassante out of concept. I think that he'll wait to have counter to try and go up against Fake God, who has been very, very good in this early split.
God, he's been so good. He is the standard of top lane right now in NACL. And we'll see if that continues here today against Concept, who another long-standing member of the developmental scene here and previous Golden Guardians member. We did get that Annie lock-in, so not going to give the priority to the jungle. It's Darkwings instead.
Lulu Maokai or Lulu Wukong, I think is going to be on the menu here for the side of Disguised, as I think the only other option is if they want to grab a Nautilus and have hard engage into the Yuumi. That is an option here for the side of Disguised, but you have Zeri, you might as well find that combo with the Enchantress.
True. We've actually also seen Tomio hover over the Sejuani a lot recently. Okay. Oh, well, there you go. They're going to go right back to it. I didn't even get to make my point about it. But they do just want that CC lockdown, that single target engage as well. But that point and click CC, when you can throw it out like that, I think will super combo with it. And I expect them to try to opt into that. The combo with Sejuani is going to be so important to opt into for Disguised.
And curious enough, actually not going to be the Lulu for Zeyzal. So a little bit more playmaking. That Rakan, which you highlighted in that replay package we had before this game started, has been very good for Zeyzal. And whichever marksman we end up going here for Lynx, I do expect to see the pick now. I must say, okay, we're going to take a page out of the Supernova book and go for Sivir. I think that's actually a decent pick here.
All right, I could see it. I could see it. The Sivir is starting to rise in priority, maybe to make it its way through our scrims. But AOE definitely wanting to go ahead and try this one out. Now, we're in our second phase, and this means DSG just ban out some junglers, man. That's right at this point. AOE are going to be focused on that topside matchup with the Jax ban.
Yeah, taking away the Wukong, one of the better matchups into Sejuani. Now, you can play Sejuani into Maokai. And I think that they actually might let the Maokai through, as that has not been the champs that Will has really been proficient in playing so far, as Will wants to be aggressive and get things rolling for the side of AoE. Also, I would love to see just an Ahri ban thrown at Young. I know that, okay, it's going to be more bans of Fake God. I was about to say, I know that it's a Sejuani mid, and usually you want to pair melees with the Sejuani to try and stack that Permafrost passive, but I think Ahri for Young, it's been his most played champ early, and against the Annie, you can kind of weather the storm and also follow up on plays that are going to be made by the Sejuani.
Is the Viego ban something that Will has definitely highlighted and shown that in his past he can pull off? I love to see that kind of focus toward jungle. That was the obvious direction for the second phase of DSG, but now we're looking at what counter pick is going to look like for AoE in that top side of the map for Concept, and what they want to grab here for the jungle matchup. There still are a lot of aggressive junglers on the table. I want to see this opted into from Will, and he actually has some follow-up in this mid-jungle duo as well now.
They didn't find a win on the Rek'Sai yesterday, but his Rek'Sai did go legendary in that game for AoE. And with Yuumi, it's a decent combo. You can get kills with Annie, so very strong 2v2 showing here for the side of AoE.
And I do wonder if we just get the opted to a very tight matchup in the
Blind
top side.
Fiora?
That would be, I mean, it's going to have to be blind something.
It's the Blanc,
At this point, we'd get the Blanc for Young, something that he definitely hovers over and goes to more often.
It's more Shiv gaming time coming in, Mazel, as I fear the side lanes will be dominated by the Blanc in the later stages. Now Fake God looking for his pairing up in the top side with the Sejuani. Fiora was being hovered. I know Cassante's on the board. I'm kind of expecting to see Cassante here.
It's the meta pick that's still on the table. And it will be picked up for Fake God, who has been
get weird?
a menace in this top side of the map.
Right.
Do we get weird is the conversation you asked. And this wouldn't be necessarily weird, but it's something that we've seen rise heavily, at least in the LPL. It is the Poppy top.
There's a lot of dashes that you can cancel on the side of Concept. I do think that Cassante wins out on this matchup in the 1v1, but the utility that Poppy brings later in the game is huge. And also, you have a really good setup with Rek'Sai when you do have Poppy. So I want to see if Will can maybe path towards Concept. There is the ability to set Fake God behind early.
There is indeed. We're going to have a little bit of time here, though. I've gotten word that we have a couple pauses in the game, so I think we're going to have a little bit of time to fill here, Cubby. And I think that does bring up some interesting conversations about the style we're seeing from AOE in game number 1. Typically not what we've seen from them so far. We've had like the one Yuumi game from Breezy before. We haven't had the Sivir gameplay, but we've seen it rise, at least for Supernova. But Rek'Sai for Will, I think this is a perfect staple for him. This is something that AOE can find promise off of, and they've drafted around it, which was the most important thing for me coming into this.
Sivir's that late game insurance. My concern for AOE is that no one can match LeBlanc in that side lane later. So Young will have total control of the side waves with that static shiv tech that we've been seeing LeBlanc's run, which gives you so many timers to then go collapse onto AOE. Now, for AOE, the positives for them is that their level 6 is going to be so strong from Rek'Sai and Annie. I want to see if they can make plays on that. I think pre-6, you can try and get topside ahead if you can go up there when Sejuani isn't around. I think that Tomio maybe pathing defensively to protect Fake God a little bit early could be good. But yeah, I think that Herald fight for AOE is going to be very important because you have to find something with Tibbers plus Rek'Sai against this comp for Disguise. Because if they get ahead a little bit, LeBlanc is going to make sure you're always on the back foot in the side lane. And we've seen what happens with Zarya when she gets ahead.
But that's also the thing I want to bring up for DSG. We have seen them just mechanically execute across the map multiple times already. That's why they are one of our top teams in ACL so far. But I do find a thing where Tomio and Young need to be pretty proactive against Will and Darkwings. And I think they both have the prowess, the track record to say they can. But it is also a situation where we have seen LeBlancs fall off if they aren't getting any advantages for themselves. And you still always have that point and click Tibbers combo from Darkwings to the end of the game.
Oh, it's just that with this new build, LeBlanc, you still have some power in the fights, but your true power comes in how quickly that you can shove out sides and then make sure that you can find 5v4s, 5v3s, just because enemy team has to catch what the side waves are like going to be shoved in all the time from LeBlanc. The shiv shoves so fast. So I think that it does make it tricky for AOE because what AOE wants to do is that they want to use Annie, Rek'Sai, Poppy to just kind of blow someone up, get kills, and then honestly, with Rek'Sai, you're always kind of looking to trade 1-for-1 with a target that's higher priority than you are. I think that AOE, they have the ability to do that in groupings, but once the Blanc gets those side waves, it's going to be so hard for them to do that and not lose a ton of resources elsewhere.
Yeah, and that is where I have to bring up the conversation that we've kind of alluded to, brought up to, foreshadowed to. It is the bot lane duos, but as well specifically both of these supports, how they're looking on their new teams and what they're bringing to the table. We see Zeyzal jumping straight from his strength on Cloud9 to being a majority representative for DSG here in a lot of their decision making. And on AOE side, Breezy still trying to find those link ups with links, but especially just trying to find his own voice.
And I think that Breezy, I mean, obviously we had a lot of Challengers teams drop out of the league. Breezy was one of the players, much like the core of C9 that now finds their way on Disguise. I was really happy to see Breezy stay in the league because I feel like that he has earned his spot in this league given the play that he has had in the past few splits. As Breezy just, it feels like he continues to kind of add a couple things to his game. It's going to be hard to see that on the Yuumi, but definitely someone where I think that with this team, Will is going to be one of the bigger talkers in the comms, but Breezy definitely something to follow up.
We got to the game! We vamped for long enough. We did it. We made it to Summoner's Rift, our kickoff game of our second series. And I love that point you kind of bring up. Just trying to facilitate a lot of the growth from AOE is super important. I think we get to see a new iteration of this team, obviously with a lot of influx of newer talent. Will coming in as his summer child self. But especially the way that the meta has shifted does give them some onus in a lot of these picks. And I love that Concept is willing to bring out a classic Poppy pick like this. You have that direct engage available. Oh, we got the duck. We got all the animals, like the dragonflies. Oh, one of them's gone. Is the frog gonna eat the dragonflies? Oh, the other dragonfly's back. Those aren't dragonflies. Those are oh, there's more over there.
Minions has spawned.
Oh, there's a snail.
We're just getting all the landscape
another
here.
snail. Oh my god, there's so many snails. There's a butterfly down there. You see the butterfly?
Of course, this happens when I'm casting with the former zookeeper. You know.
It has to. Okay, look at him. The bird. I actually don't think I've ever seen that bird. It's kind of cute.
Top to bot start from Tomio. I want to see.
You don't
what
want to talk
Will,
about animals coming? Come
no,
on.
I want to get back to the game. I want to see what Will ends up doing because Will need to likely hover that bot side as Lynx and Breezy will be set behind and under siege early as
Level 1 fighting between the 2v2s. Meech getting a bit aggressed on by his former support and his new bot laner, Lynx and Breezy. Able to trade down pretty heavily. AOE comes out in favor.
really nice actually from the AOE bot lane as that exhaust got pretty high value. Got the ghost out of Meech as the push will continue. But Will, why I was kind of highlighting Will is that I was curious to see if he actually arrives to this Poppy lane early, as I really think that Poppy has good setup and a surprisingly high amount of base damage. Why we see Poppy jungle be so strong, some of those early ganks. She can support the Rek'Sai, and it was the combo that AOE did use when Will did go legendary on Rek'Sai yesterday, as it was also paired with that Poppy top. So definitely something AOE has been cooking up in the week off, and want to see if they can make good use of that today.
Darkwing's actually getting into some nice trades on the Young in mid lane as well with that Electrocute proc coming through. But we did get that hover from Will on top side.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have an angle to go through.
They got a really smart ward after that second wave to protect it, and now Will going to be a little bit delayed on his clear as he goes down to the bot side. As Tomio has already cleaned up 5 of his camps. He's going to have the Raptors to wrap up, but the moment looks like he wants to try and go bot. There's no ward available for the bot lane of Disguise, and Tomio's going to make sure that no funny business from Rek'Sai comes around.
We'll see the hover to the most important bot lane. Now, I think an interesting conversation that was brought up a lot last split was the connection of Zeyzal and Tomio. And it still is as strong as ever, feels like, for DSG. Once you get past that 15-minute mark, they will unlock each other. And Tomio looking to unlock himself early on against Will take that aggressive path into his jungle and force Will out.
So that's away on Will on the top side. It leads to this, and this is where Will was clearing towards a lane that wasn't going to have push. So love to see Disguise using some of the fundamentals of the game. Use that push to get Tomio that bonus camp. Skipping over the Raptors, well worth it. Will now really set on the back foot, as he has 2 camps to go till he hits level 4 still. And Tomio's going to be able to get this crab, and he could even go to contest that respawn Raptors if he so chooses, as Young going to drop ward to help him scout out for that. Fully expect Tomio to maybe keep on getting involved in the jungle of Will, as this Rek'Sai is behind early, and that's not good. Rek'Sai needs to ramp up and get moving, or else you get dreadfully outscaled by the Sejuani.
This is just a not a pretty situation to be in for Will. Still a way out of it. He can dig that tunnel, but definitely with Tomio having a lot of that power around the map so far. Now, we did get a decent amount of focus in our game number 1 around dragons. I would want AOE to try to find some pressure around that, right? They have a pretty heavy push in bottom lane. They have a little bit of priority in mid lane, but if they could get stacked, that definitely dissuades a lot of the worries that maybe this pathing has led to.
I think the game plan right now for Tomio, it's clear these 2 camps, base, and then just sprint to Dragon. And I think the real answer is, like, do Meech and Zeyzal get a base off before that comes up? Because it is heavy jungle advantage going over to the side of Tomio at the moment, who is just having a monster first clear here, Mazel. He's going to have 44 creeps after this first clear, given that he did take a camp away. He double crabbed and already got 2 of his respawn camps.
That's actually so insane. And we're just going to get the reset from Will because he knows there's nothing left on the map for him. You see that ping immediately. Okay, so they are prescribing to what I had suggested, potentially getting that early dragon for them will be a priority.
But check Tomio's items coming out of base. I mean, it's already a completed Bombies, which helps so much with your clear on these tank junglers, and even a cloth armor to go with it. So, like, Will, he's a level behind this Sejuani, and if Sejuani is able to get the jump on you and connect with Aftershock, it makes this 1v1 really tough for the Rek'Sai.
It truly does, and you like a little bit of that skirmishing power, especially from a jungler like the Sejuani, but specifically Tomio. Now we do see Will finally making it back out. Was able to clear out that farm, but not able to really get any vision help from his lanes down here towards the dragon. While you do have a potential reset of positioning down here for the bottom side, it's going to be Tomio on his way to hover.
Sivir has good push, especially as each of our bot lanes were able to find a base, but Will and Tomio are going to meet on up. Will down a level. Tomio up in items, able to just force Rek'Sai away. And we'll see if that's enough to get bot lane priority and actually start up this dragon on the next wave.
And it looks like a little bit of hesitance there from AOE because of the presence of DSG. Get the TP back into mid lane from Darkwings, though. And it is actually still Tomio who is looking for that vision around this pit to make sure they don't sneak it away after he leaves.
He's going to try and find Will. Will spot Tomio on this control ward. They do take out the passive.
Oh, they're looking for it. They really want to try to find something here. Level 6 is not available for both junglers, but it is available for both mid laners. And Tomio, knowing that Tippers could come out at any moment, backs away.
Yeah, no passive. Just wants to get that back up off the jungle camps, and he'll get back involved as this Raptor camp. We'll give Tomio level, so close to 6. He's a ward kill away. If
there
he
is no smite.
Will's got the smite.
Oh, does miss the Arctic Assault there. Still feels a little bit as he pushes Will out of his own jungle for like the 5th consecutive time. And they will just hover bot lane because they know that this is where Will was hovering himself. Ooh, close.
I mean, he is literally a ward kill away from 6 here, as he's going to try.
Turn if he gets it.
He gets it off the wave. Not going to turn, though, on to Lynx. Instead, going to turn onto the dragon. As Will does base, it will be a Herald setup for the side of AOE, and this dragon will go over to the side of DSG.
A little bit of damage done. Is still the wet noodle fight. That could have been very tricky for Fake God if just another combo went down. But that dragon goes to DSG. And I was saying I wanted AOE to get this early stacking, but it is DSG with their power combo and the movement from both lanes that makes it so.
I want to see if Fake God actually walks into this Rift Herald, because Concept, he wasn't able to find that kill in the back half. Even if he connected with that Q Mazel, he was out of mana. So Fake God not going to take his reset while Concept did, and instead drop a ward and will spot Will, who was level 5 on the Herald. Darkwings is moving over.
That's a slow Herald take, but it should still be secured by AOE with the movement of Darkwings. You've got Tomio on his way up here. Darkwings, you can't get caught ahead of time. They're going to just pounce on him. Concept's on his way, but Darkwings is going down all out in first blood for DSG. As now it's the all-out and Fake God onto Concept, and it's 1v2 here. Should just be left out, flashes over the wall, and gets away. Wow.
Dude, Fake God has been so impressive to start this split, Mazel. Like, what has Fake God not been able to do from this top lane?
It's been incredible, man, every single time. And it's so funny, you hear other top players, oh, Fake God's good, yeah, he's good, but I can hang with him. And then you just see Fake God do stuff like this where he's menacing your team.
It's first off, he just takes a plate, knowing the Concept didn't have enough mana to kill him, walks down, doesn't take his reset to match, which is bad for his matchup, but he knows that Herald is going to be attempted by AOE, and if they don't get it, this guy's get so many advantages early. They slow down this combo from the Rek'Sai Annie. They haven't been able to get anything, so it's Fake God, I think, sacrificing things for himself at the right time because he's doing things that are better for his team on the map as Fake God continues to just be a real standout this early split, man. I cannot say enough good things about what this guy's been able to accomplish on the Rift.
And also, just timing that all out as the stun Tippers was coming through from Darkwing. Just really good mechanical play. And, you know, we said it earlier. There's a reason why 3 members of this DSG roster were champions last split, right? Like, they are damn good. And this DSG roster has brought a lot of the major pieces in development here in NA to a fold. And here we go, seeing it on display again as Tomio gets that kill in mid lane.
Darkwing's not even able to flash out of that one as the Glacial Prison connects. The kill connects, and now Young, he's off to the races on this Shiv build, Mazel, as he could be side landing a little bit earlier in the game if DSG are able to keep on finding some plays. Now, I will say, Will was able to secure that Herald, so that is the saving grace for AOE. They need a big Herald play off this.
Where do you use it?
I want to see him and Annie work together to use it somewhere, man.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get this combo together. That's why you chose this combo, right? Like, you choose the Annie for a decisive mid lane to skirmish and go into 2v2s with your jungler, and we haven't been able to see that so far because of the pressure from mid lane, but also around it.
It's been all disguised. Again, expected them to find the 2-0 today against AOE, as I feel like Disguise, just given who they're rocking on the roster, should be favored coming into this matchup. AOE trying to make things a little bit more interesting, though the picture that I am painting. But at the moment, Disguise, they're trying to make things interesting themselves, as Sivir, they just get a lot of wave clear. A little bit too much to even think about diving, unfortunately, as it was a good map setup, and Tomio might find a little chunk or something on the back half. Yeah.
They're playing so aggressive here, but it's the combo that lands, and the CC is enough. Meech takes that extra shot. He goes down. Kill goes over to Breezy. Likely so, as he says, "Gotcha, Bay," as he takes him down. His previous ADC, you got the Void Rush coming through, and the Void has taken Zazel's life.
All right, so Disguised a little bit too far forward. They were hoping that Tomio was going to get that tower aggro. Did not go over to him. Instead, Meech goes down. Zazel found on the back half. And AOE able to get something in the pockets of Will.
Love to see Will get an advantageous start here in some way or form, but you got Fate God picking apart the top lane, picking up plates here or there. You also have first items being completed. That static shift for Young will be available, but as well as that Trinity Force for Meech, where Lynx has completed the Kraken Slayer, and you have the Stride Breaker for Will.
All right. It's a really good combo from Tomio. He was actually trying to wait out the Spell Shield to throw out his E. The E was caught by the Spell Shield as Zazel finds the combo. I think that's why Tomio didn't quite take aggro in the back half. It was actually led by Zazel. And Zazel, him and Meech take a little bit too much damage. Will able to clean him up as the kills go over the jungler and the support. AOE not going to be too mad with that one, as they do drop the Herald. Zazel is here to Weeze counter. Gold will only go over to Will.
Smite it!
Oh, it was close. It was actually really close.
Yeah, it was very close. But that charge goes off. A little bit of gold for Will. Still in a 3v2 down here as Will is walking away. You had actually a nice little roam from Young as well. And I think that connection is going to become increasingly important, right? Zazel maybe looking to get out of lane at some point soon. But that 15-minute mark is where I look for DSG to start turning on this macro decision-making that we've seen them use so well.
And you can see how expensive that dive was for Lynx as Breezy decides to press R.
Just really wanted to catch me. He's like, man,
yeah.
You forsook me. You have this new support. You think you're all cool. I want to take you down. We didn't get the final chance.
You can already
still
see
pages in this book.
Already see the power of Shiv LeBlanc as that wave was shoved out by the LeBlanc. Young able to arrive to the dragon first, and I think that's really the answer for me with DSG. Get Young into the side lane as fast as possible. The ability for LeBlanc to wave clear and have pressure, and also just remove Tibbers from the middle of the map and put it in a side where you can play away from it, I think is going to be really important for DSG moving forward if they want to continue to snowball this game. As you can see how much fun this is.
Do we want to go ahead and message Chakarez, go ahead and get the tracker going, see how much percentage Young does with the static shift?
I wish Challengers, had that reach. Maybe because it's a disguise game, we could convince him. Or maybe
or just make up numbers.
Yeah, okay. So far, I've been seeing Shiv games do like 30 to 35% of the damage that the champions deal throughout the game, which is pretty balanced,
How long is it going to stay in the game is not my question.
That's a question that everyone's been asking.
Everyone's asking here, but you do see the build starting to come online, at least with those first item spikes across the board.
Darkwing Splash.
Still looking for something, but Darkwings has gone down in a 1v1. We have to take a look at that play. We have to get a replay.
Well, Shiv's already online, and guess what? Young put the Shiv and Darkwings back as he takes down the Annie. I said get Young in a side lane. Guess what? He goes in the side lane, instantly gets something positive for Disguise. Now AOE forced to at least look for something with their comp. They have Poppy Rek'Sai, can still find wall bangs and be good as Yumi's caught.
Oh, Breezy. He does get that healing to shielding back. The Rift Herald getting very low for AOE, and DSG don't want any part of it.
Okay, Chunk found by Tomio. It will just be first brick in the bot side going over to the side of Disguised as Young. It was enter side lane, find solo kill, find turret. Not bad. We take those.
Okay, we're right back to the results-based analysis. I think that's a theme here.
I mean, I'm just spitting facts, It's
just spitting facts, just like Zazel was in his interview, right?
Well, Young, I don't expect Young to lead that side lane for the rest of the game. All
right.
Oh, able to get that one around the minion. Darkwings did burn those first two abilities on the wave.
You just can't do anything.
Yeah, flash for flash, and then, oh, look, another dash.
Auto attack.
Not bad.
Did you know that LeBlanc is an auto attack champion now? I guess we know now. As Young with the big pick in the side lane does mean that the side lane pressure is just going to be almost impossible for AOE to deal with.
I want to see how much Young can like push this, and also, does Young actually go top here maybe to just take down another turret? Dragon spawning, putting Young away from the pressure could be a good idea here. Beside his guys, but nope, Fake God going to continue to keep that matchup in the top side as he will push this game forward on his own in the Poppy. And AOE already, Mazel feels like they're kind of running out of plays. Next play they can make, get Sivir to 6 items maybe. That the move?
Yeah, you know, 300 CS power spike, right? Right?
I actually think it takes LDR for Sivir to be really useful in this game, given that you are going to be hitting Cassante, Sejuani, and also a Titanic Hydra Zeri. So for me, AOE, they have to try and find any picks they can with Rek'Sai, but the next point they're going to be really strong in this game is going to be that LDR onto Sivir. I think that's when you can start to think about making more plays, but until then, all eyes have to be on Young and how much he can dominate this side lane. As, okay, here we go. Here comes the fun.
That didn't shade. Oh, Sag. Oh,
we love this build. Yay.
We love this build. Woo! Oh, look at that. All the minions. Oh, look at that. He's going on Dark Wings. Oh, my God. No, there's no way this actually turns into anything, right?
I got another ship proc on him.
My God, he did so much damage just with that one auto attack. Oh, it feels so bad. But as we see, the charge has gone down in the mid lane. We did get that second Rift Tower utilized to try to get Lynx some gold, but here comes the re-engage from DSG. They get a beautiful flash out of Lynx, though. That was really nice to delay the engage.
Nice buffer from Will as well, as he was able to burrow the charms. We actually did not get knocked up by the Grand Entrance. That's good Rek'Sai play coming out of Will. As a couple ults burned, maybe they can look for something else. Will sticking around in the back half just to make sure that Lynx, no other play comes down or is attempted. As AOE, the marksman does lose both summoner spells, and that is a point that this guys can look to punish in the next fight, as we'll see if AOE even thinks about contesting this dragon.
I was going to say, you got about 20 seconds until that answer needs to come due.
Well, don't worry, man. Young's got that bot wave, shoved the turret, and is taking away Gromp right now, because, you know, it's fine.
It's fine. Again, there's just no answer in the side lane, so you're going to try to pick him out. And he is a LeBlanc, so it's not like he's easy to pick out. And you see the gold differential happening. Young is so far ahead of literally everybody else. How is that fair?
It's not.
But also, I will just highlight, like, we were talking so much about the 3 champions on this roster, but it's not like DSG slouched in the other 2 members. They had picked up 2 of our most mechanically skilled players in NACL, in Young and Meech, and now we're seeing it come alive here. Young TPing back to get back into the fight. I'm sure he completed an item or something on that back, as the dragon is going to be pulled out of the pit. There's a TP now coming to join the fight from Fake God.
That's a hell of an angle.
Engage, though. 5,000 health down on the dragon here. Concept playing a little bit loosey-goosey. Will just waiting to go in for the smite, but it's just a waiting game right now for DSG. They're waiting for AOE to make a move so they can pull the trigger with their engage. The dragon is what they're going in for now. Here goes the 50-50. Will's out of there as he goes down to Tomio. We'll see if that final chapter will be it for the side of AOE. It might just be as the Void Rush comes through. Will able to find a lot of kiting here. Lynx is going up a big wombo combo from DSG, and it looks so promising, but in the end, they got literally nothing. A full, clean ace for Disguise.
I don't know how Fake God lived through that one, but DSG wiped the floor with AOE as the Rek'Sai Annie. That combo doesn't find anything, and when you don't have the big engage, Mazel, this is what happens in the back half. As Zazel starts the fight off, finds the charm on the concept, but my eyes, honestly, the second time I watched this through, how does Fake God live? As Fake God, he found a big R to actually drag one of the carries AOE into the rest of the team, which opens things up. Okay, so here's the charm. Fake God, he goes in, finds Dark Wings, then he eats Tibbers solo.
And, get the re-engage here.
I mean, Will does his best, but he actually Q flashes onto Lynx.
Oh my
God! Him into the team, man. He plays Cassante like it's an assassin as Fake God continues to be nasty. As the solo lanes from DSG step up big in that fight. Find the Queen Ace for DSG, who are now wearing that purple buff.
Man, what team
Jeez,
fighting
fake
coming
God.
out from DSG. Every single member just mechanically executing. And then Fake God goes right back to top and puts pressure on Concept. This team is insane when they get the ball rolling for them. And that's why they've been so dominant, even though taking a lot of 1-1s against those challenger rosters. This is the type of show-up that we expected from DSG, especially against AOE, where we feel like they are the stronger team.
Auto attack kills the wave. Hooray!
Don't worry about it.
Go.
Don't worry about it. No questions asked.
Now, Darklings is down 4 levels, given how much control you have, as this is the dire effort, and this will be fun.
Yeah, they're going to find Will, though. Will
fun.
is not tanky at all. Young wants to go over the wall, but Darkwings now is the focus. As here comes Beach. Darkwings going to flash.
Okay, well, easy enough for the side of the skies, as they force him out, and nothing else available on the map for AOE, as I think Disguise, like one of the things that we really saw from Cloud9 and their win from Challengers last split is that it was really all 3 lanes winning and then Tomio playing off of that. I do want to credit Tomio. I feel like the lanes were kind of an auto win again this game, but I feel like the way that Tomio has been pathing and playing, I think he's actually really like grown more this split than I think we saw last split, Mazel, as I think that Tomio's hovers around bot, just understanding, hey, that's the play that Will and Darkwing can try and make early. It really slowed down the game, where Disguise in this mid game were going to be so deadly if Anti-Rek'Sai couldn't take off, and now map's theirs until Sivir gets LDR, which again, that's going to be the last hope for AOE, and I think things are way too far gone for AOE to have any hopes in this one.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit dead and gone. Over 10,000 gold in the advantage is DSG now. More towers falling, and it's just a good performance, but a good meta read right now from DSG. And it should just be this top lane falling next. All tier 2 towers are going to be going down if the Baron buff has its way here. 30 seconds out. But instead of focusing the tier 2 up there, they're just focusing it in towers with Young, who is just able to auto attack.
Also, the fleet procs for plus 160, not bad. Darkwings can't even walk into that lane. He's going to just try and find anything he can with Will, as Darkwings doesn't have access to flash. Maybe a big flash Tibbers. Again, that's the coping hope here if you're an AoE fan.
Got your bottle of copium ready? Is it sitting right next to you? Aired up, ready to go?
Not during challenges, man. I say that for LCS and international events.
I got a stockpile for international events and sits in my closet. It just says NA on it. We do want to see, though, as the conversation I raised earlier is that AoE just don't have an answer into side lane pressure, and I think we've seen that here. So then with this game kind of being, as you would say, done and dusted, maybe trying to get us back to an even state of game here.
It's done and dusted.
I wonder where you get to see that kind of adaptation, because there was a clear goal for AoE coming into this first game. It was have a very strong mid-jungle duo, get Will ahead like you did yesterday, but actually turn that into a win. Get some late game scaling to really bridge that gap. And on paper, they had that, right? But when it comes to execution, when you're facing up against DSG, it just doesn't work like that.
This is a team that we expect to be one of the strongest in Challengers, and man, they're really stepping up here. Also, it's so funny, Young's so far ahead. At this point of the game, he has Ludens and Deathcat. This is like a strong team fighting the Blanc, which you do lose out a bit of when, you go Shiv. As
that was one ability and an auto attack from Young that just brought Concept, who is straight tank with the Divine Thunder, down to about half health. You get Fate God looking all out him here, and Concept just gonna go down to the combo. Zazel's the one that picks up the kill in the end, and a Dragon going to DSG. Everything is there. They can do no wrong.
I don't know what kind of toast this is, but I want some.
Perfect. It's perfect toast. It's literally like
there's no such thing as
golden toastiness with the butter on top.
Now, you know what is perfect? New York bagels. Undefeated. Toast? I don't know if you need perfect toast, man.
Dude, perfect toast goes a long way. You just aren't cultured enough to know.
Apparently I'm not. The Texas toast is too strong.
Disguise at Cubby on Twitter and make sure he knows how good toast is. If you can hear this. I don't think you can, but if you can hear this, at Cubby.
I like toast. There's no such thing as perfect toast, man. I don't know.
How is there not such thing as perfect toast?
I don't know.
What is your definition of toasting?
I don't know. We're going to wrap up this game first as Link's that's cleansed down.
No, we're not. We're going to talk about what kind of toast you want.
I think I'm going to talk about the Baron take coming up. As we got 40 seconds away from
It's
Reform being
12,000
back.
gold and the advantage coming. We don't need to talk about the game.
I mean, it's maybe. Who knows? Young's up 4 levels. That's fun.
All right, if we get to 20K, is that when you'll go ahead and tell me what kind of toast you want?
No, I'm gonna. How about we just pick a new topic to be goofy about?
Sad.
That's.
Well, as we get back into it now, AOE just try to find a little bit of grace on the map in some way, shape, or form, but it will not be so. The pressure is here from DSG. They just reset, and they are right back in the faces of AOE, and Will specifically. Concept is trying to get there to help out a little bit, but we finally got the LDR for Lynx. Is it going to be enough? Question remains.
Nope. 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 There's Baron.
Yeah, that's the Texan bullworm right there.
Mizel, if you were the office manager for this disguise team, how would you treat them to this victory?
We go out to a nice corporate dinner, pay for all of it. That's what I would do as office manager.
Let's
of
hope the
DSG.
Patreon can afford that. That's
if you need an office manager at DSG, just make sure I have this shirt on, and you can.
At the moment, I don't know if they even need to eat afterwards. Is in the sideline. It's been an all-you-can-eat buffet for Young, who is up 5 levels on his opponent.
Inconsistent the entire game as well. Finally, he's hit the cap though, so Dark Wings will make some ground at least. But you had that Magi's completed for Young, and he's just been a constant pressure in the side lane as Tomio's early antics led to good dividends for DSG. And now, with 1 auto attack, Will is quarter health down. God, look how much damage he does to the turret! That was 2 auto attacks!
Okay.
All right, that's the end of the game. The toast is coming up. You hear the ding of that toaster. And that is game number 1 going over whole-handedly. 17,000 plus in the lead to DSG.
You know, Mizel, I'm going to go out of the way and say we're not going to see the block again in the next draft.
Yeah, you know, who'd guess it? Not me, that's for sure.
I know it's a bit of a risky guess. You know, might be outlandish, one might say, but I think the Youngs deserve that ban.
I think so. What a dominated performance from DSG in game number 1. We are going to step away, take a break, cool down a little bit from that heat, and we'll have our Rally Cry halftime show with Sierra right after this.